I'm a PC gamer now. The place where all gamers should be.
Speaking of trauma, it was obviously pretty traumatic for Assassin's Creed players to one day wake up after a Windows update and realize, whoa, their game was non-functional.
I've also been suffering from my computer running like DJ Khaled while playing this game. This is my current PC setup, as you can see, so I should not have any problem running this game whatsoever.
I was having issues where my frames were dropping, my game kept crashing, my shaders were installed, so I knew there was nothing wrong with that. I played around with the NVIDIA drivers just to make sure that wasn't the issue. And then I realized the Razer Cortex application was ruining the game experience, from frame drops to hindering my VRAM usage, and also messing with my graphics card altogether.
If you're like me and you have a pretty decent gaming PC with ample grunt to run the game on high or ultra settings, at least on paper, then you may have been surprised and frustrated by the random lag and frame rate drops occurring throughout your gameplay. For me, lowering the global graphics settings down to medium and turning off VSync helped a lot, but I'd still experience a jarring amount of stuttering shortly after loading up the game, when exploring new areas and while traversing the world swiftly on a broomstick.
These are some solutions you can try if you're having frame drops or stuttering in Elden Ring. Go to graphics settings and turn down depth of field, motion blur, volumetric quality, global illumination quality, and grass quality. If this doesn't work, you can also try doing some things outside of the game. Type graphics in the search bar and open graphics settings. Below where it says desktop app, click browse and navigate to your Steam files, and then click on eldenring.exe. Then change the preference from let Windows decide to high performance. The one last thing you can do if you have an NVIDIA graphics card is go to the NVIDIA control panel by right clicking your desktop, going to manage 3D settings, scrolling down to shader cache size and setting it to unlimited.
Oh, no.
What's the matter?
I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today, yes, we got your next dose of the salty batch files and the highlight video on the opening, kind of a prelude to the theme of things with Steam and everything like that. So we got a lot of hype going around the next Xbox generation console, if we're going to even call it that, or what kind of a hybrid it is. So we got a lot of salt here, we got a lot of copium, all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is get right to the salt, of course, right to the theme of things, and of course we're going to start off, and there's a lot of multi-layered pieces here we got to break down, of course, but starting off here we have Jez and the thread, of course, but rumors of an Xbox and Steam hookup just got spicier, and reference to, of course, the leaked supposed prototype type of deal where it has Steam included in that OS or OEM and whatnot for Xbox, for the console, for the multiverse, so to speak, for the Xbox ecosystem. So it just got spicier to them because for some reason, all these Xbox fanboys, fraud, shills, all that, even the PC ones chiming in, the Alexes and all that, they think this is a win. They think this is a win for Xbox. It's a win for consumers if true, because, I mean, Steam, right? Critically acclaimed Steam, page, store, all that. It's a good thing for consumers. But it's not a good thing for Xbox because it's going to dwarf everything Xbox encumbers, right? That it encompasses. It's going to overtake that. That's the main plot point here, so stay with that. But I love how they think that Steam is going to save Xbox, essentially. That's the game changer. It's something that's already available on these handhelds and PCs and store-bought PCs, but this is the game changer that's going to save Xbox. That's a new narrative. But as we continue on through this thread, Colt Eastwood, of course, again, putting that foot in his mouth. Xbox will let me play all my games in one place. I can't wait. No, your Xbox is not. That would be Steam. Steam would be able to allow you to do that, and something that you can already do on that PC of yours, Colt. This is not some sort of revelation here. This is not a revelation here in regards to what we're looking at. This is not going to change anything, like I just mentioned. This is stupid. But again, D, we got some internal civil war, right? But even though D's kind of moved more towards PC as well, D-Batch stating, dude, This is a new UI for Windows-enabled devices, not an Xbox console. This will be for the handhelds and Windows, PCs. Xbox would lose money putting Steam on the console. Who would buy from the box store? LOL. Sony games would be forbidden to launch via the launcher if it was on a console. LOL. Man, it's called a PC. We have this now. LOL. This UI is welcomed. So again, this was a lot of speculation. It still is speculation, right? When we're looking at stuff, we don't know what it's going to end up being. Even if it is an Xbox hybrid console, does it have Steam? D's onto something here, though, that's going to dwarf things. It's going to harm the ecosystem for Xbox even further. It's going to be interesting if they outright say Steam is absolutely included, right? And again, you can do this. You can do this on PCs. Just go PC at this point, because even if it is basically a console, right? An Xbox console, it's still a hybrid. You're now going to have PC functionalities, desktop functionalities. It's going to take away from the convenience factor. Yes, everything's in one place, but it's going to take away the convenience factor, and it's going to harm that ecosystem. But a lot of these frauds and shills aren't getting that. They're trying to find a W somewhere. They're still trying to find that grift. That's what they do. But let's keep going here. So, Colt Eastwood, again, stating, are you seriously stuck in the 2010s thinking the word Xbox only means a console? Holy F, LOL. So now he's trying to act like he's embracing the fact that Xbox is on anything and everywhere. Your phone, your iPad, any device, right? Any device that supports Xbox, any sort of electronic device that supports Xbox is technically an Xbox. You can even consider your PlayStation an Xbox because the first-party games are on a PlayStation 5, so first-party Xbox games, I guess, according to that, they are encompassing that ecosystem from PlayStation, it being an Xbox. But again, we'll see what that narrative changes, but I don't know what they're digging for. I don't know what they're digging for here. This is stuck in the 2010s because everything's an Xbox. Colt knew, right? We already outed him, but he already knew that Xbox was heading in that direction from the 2010s, right? All the way up through 2020. He knew since 2020 that that's the direction they were heading, really? Really? That's funny because we have the examples from the previous videos I have, and if you haven't checked those out, please do so. It does show how much of a fraud he is, and he has no clue. So now he's trying to double down and act like he knew from 2020 on, at least, that he knew that was the direction that Xbox was doing. It was Xbox everywhere and on any device, and that was the theme of things. No, that's funny because exclusives still mattered back in 2020 to you, even 2021, even 2022, and on and on and on. But, you know, we don't have time to break that down again. But again, D is in the comment section here. FFS, yes, Colt, I'm not a shill who goes with whatever Microsoft says. Right? Even D knows. Yes, an Xbox is a console. All this other crap is just noise. You believe a laptop is an Xbox and a 5090 rig is an Xbox. I know we joke, but a PS is not an Xbox either. Again, this is where I beg to differ because according to their anomalies, according to Microsoft's wording, technically an Xbox is a PlayStation 5 as well because, again, they're first-party games, and the more first-party games that arrive on the PlayStation 5, you can consider that an Xbox. But I digress. Let's keep going. He states, do you Colt but that a bunch of bullcrap and you know it deep inside? I'm glad he's calling him out. At least he's being honest, right? And at least he's not blocked from Colt, so he can continue to do that because Colt's not going to block him. Is in that inner circle, so to speak, has been for quite some time, for many years. So he's not going to outright block him like any other rando out there. So he has to sit there and take it, which I think is hilarious that somebody's finally calling him out on his bullcrap, much like we're doing here. Again, he had no clue the direction that Xbox was going to head into. So, as we go to our next example here, we got to have Destin because we're having the Mount Rushmore of the Xbox defenders and the Mount Rushmore of false hype and grifting, shilling, all that stuff. Destin, PlayStation games coming soon to Xbox with a sarcastic emoji, right? Something that MLD would do. So Tom Warren stating on here, here's the Steam on the Xbox evidence Microsoft didn't want you to see. Microsoft posted and removed a new Xbox UI image because he reported on that, right? That had the Steam image and all that like that for the store. But again, just playing devil's advocate for having PlayStation games available on some sort of a Xbox console. And again, even if the PlayStation games are available on this hybrid console, they're going to be available through Steam. Xbox gets $0 cut. When those PlayStation games get bought from a Steam store, Steam gets a cut, PlayStation gets a cut. Do we know who doesn't get a cut? Xbox, Microsoft, they do not get a cut. It doesn't matter that Steam's available on there. I don't see, and there's been some discourse back and forth with folks stating that, well, PlayStation could and will block the games on Steam devices that does have an accordance with Xbox, right? Maybe they could. We don't know for sure. It's still a lot of speculation. We can say this and go over the fact that they've blocked things from GeForce, stuff like that, and other examples as well. It's a possibility, right? It really is. But why would you, though, right? If you're a company and a business, why would you not allow that? Because Microsoft's not getting anything from that. You can still play PlayStation games with an Xbox controller on a PC and map all the buttons. Microsoft's not getting a dime from this. So this is what I'm talking about when you have Steam encompassing and dwarfing and shadowing over the Xbox store, the Microsoft store, basically, right? It doesn't make a lot of sense. So on that note, for those that might be worried, like, hey, you know, PlayStation games are on there, then what? Is that going to devalue the PlayStation ecosystem? No, not really. Because those that want to do that can already do that on a PC. And this is essentially going to be a hybrid of a PC if, again, Steam is actually available on this hybrid type of console. If it even is a hybrid console, again, it could just be another PC with an Xbox logo slapped on it, much like this new ROG Ally type of product that's being announced, right, for Xbox. It's basically a sticker on the handheld and they're ready to go. But again, I wouldn't even be too concerned if that was the case because, again, they're not seeing the money. So I don't see the benefit and they're just going to harm themselves in the long run. I don't think it's that smart, but maybe it's their only play. I don't know. So I think they got one more generation left in them anyways, and whatever they decide to do with it, they do with it what they think is best, and we'll have to kind of see how that unfolds. But as we continue here, even Derek Strickland, an Xbox fanboy blogger, stuff like that, he states, in my opinion, the only way Steam on Xbox makes sense is if Microsoft wants to wind down Xbox hardware on its own terms. Well, you're not wrong there, Derek. I feel Xbox would be undercut so hard by Valve that the boxes would essentially turn into Steam consoles. Exactly, kind of like what I was alluding to already. That's essentially what they would be. There's no identity for Microsoft having this as an Xbox console. There just isn't. And then he states, of course, it just doesn't make sense in regards to the status quo. Right. For once, you're being somewhat honest, but now at this point in time of recording, he's already had other posts trying to double down and make some sort of sense of this and trying to make this a W of sorts, but really there isn't. And what he's stating there is finally a truth out of his mouth, out of his words anyways. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. It really doesn't. And before I had to do some research into some previous videos, I'm like, does PlayStation block them? Do they? You know, because I didn't know. I had to research, and like, sure enough, Microsoft doesn't get a dime. You're basically advertising you can play PlayStation games on a console and to forego any games on being bought through your store. It just is so weird and bizarre. I just have a hard time fathoming why they would do that, because it's going to harm themselves in the long run, right? I mean, is it good for consumers? Yes, but as a business, it's not going to help them in any way. It really isn't. I'm all biasness aside, all fanboyism aside from anybody anywhere, it just doesn't make sense. If it did, I would be admitted to it. I'd like, yeah, it makes sense. Good for them. They're actually going to be competing, this, that, and the other. But that's not the case here. But let's get to the other example here. We got Jez back again, and he does another survey here, right? He says, if the next Xbox supports Steam, Epic Games Store, will PlayStation block their PC titles on Microsoft's hardware? Has a yes or no? But Astal, he's back here. He has to chime in, of course. He's like, they can. But doing so, they can say bye-bye to Xbox games on PlayStation. So now this idiot influencer, if you even want to call him that, he thinks that PlayStation has to bargain with Xbox in order to be successful because PlayStation hasn't been successful since PS1 up to current. They haven't been selling their consoles. They've been hurting. in all ways, shapes, and forms. I mean, what kind of reality are we shifting here? He's just speaking bullcrap into existence here, like they have to play nice with Xbox. They're not playing nice at all. That's why we're still getting games and licensing out these games like we've been over just recent videos in regards to Hot Shots Golf and such, right? That's hitting PC, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, of course, but it's not hitting Xbox. But yes, PlayStation needs to hit a home run. They need to play ball with Xbox in order to continue. No, it's the completely other way around. As a matter of fact, we even have just a couple examples here I want to show pop up here of some articles here. We have from Fandom Wire. He really ruined Xbox, quoted Phil Spencer admits that Microsoft gaming needs revenue from PlayStation to survive. Right? Just a quick one. That was from a year ago, right? Admittance from a year ago almost completely. And then we have the other article here. Xbox needs revenue from PlayStation. Phil Spencer admits, doubling down on it again from another one by Zarmina Khan. Has once again explained Microsoft's decision to release select Xbox games on PlayStation. And at that time, it was only four games, right? And it's clearly going to be the whole slate. There's no red line, all that stuff, and on and on and on. But yes, PlayStation's the one that needs to play ball, ass tall. You moron. Just absolute moron. But I just love their way of spinning things. But before we get to the end here, we have one more example here. Just wanted to bring this one up as well. Just stating, just a simple comment here. For those saying PlayStation can't block their games on Steam arbitrarily from an Xbox, quote, right, quoted Xbox PC, they absolutely 100% can. So one of the rare moments and instances that Jez does state the truth, right? Sometimes he likes to get through there. But shout out to Jez. He did unblock me on social media, so thank you. Not that I'm commenting on any of his stuff, but he states again, GeForce now found this out the hard way. And this is in regards to if the next Xbox supports Steam Epic, will PlayStation block and all that stuff. So people are out there saying they can't do that. All this stuff. They can. Again, it comes back to the fact that will they? And again, I think that's all speculative, right? We can all assume, but there's two ends to that, right? Again, like I mentioned before, if Microsoft's not getting any money from getting sales on Steam for PlayStation first-party games like The Last of Us, Last of Us Part 2, Horizon, God of War, all that stuff, right? If they're not being harmed in any way and they're still, the main goal, even though hardware is very important to an ecosystem, ensure software sales, well, that's what you want is software sales. So if this hybrid Xbox PC thing is available to download via Steam, Xbox first-party games, I don't see the harm in that. Because now it's a different story if for some reason there's some sort of contractual deal because it's their hardware, right? Microsoft's hardware, and they do get some sort of a cut from PlayStation first-party games. Maybe that's more of a leg to stand on to be like, for PlayStation to be like, hold up, we're gonna do a partial block here on this type of device and hardware. It's definitely doable, absolutely. But would they still? Maybe. I think so, because anything that would actually jeopardize their ecosystem and why you would not want to buy a console, that's when they're going to take some action. Like, yes, they're branching into more day-and-date stuff with PC, but PC is its own open platform and stuff like that, so they're trying to embrace it, trying to do timed releases and stuff. We'll see if it ends up being day-and-date with the first-party single offline games, not the multiplayer, services of games type of stuff. That obviously makes sense to be released everywhere. You want that money and microtransactions flowing from everywhere, but your tried and true and quality tested first party single player games, I think those you can sit on the consoles are still selling extremely well. The only way I see those types of games going to PC day one is the fact that, the console sales start flubbing a little bit, right? They start slowing down. They're not being bought as much. You're seeing more of an influx to PC. Then you can bet your arse that they're going to be day and date because they, as a business, want to make the most money. And if that shifted, then okay. You're going to see that, or you're going to see simultaneous releases until consoles were not wanted anymore by the consumers, right? Then, of course, a lot of things are going to happen. That's just the nature of business, right? But ultimately, just wanted to kind of talk about all that. Just everybody very salty, trying to find the copium, the hopium, all that stuff in regards to Steam being that ultimate savior for Xbox, that this is the last resort. And guys, this is the last resort, not to quote Papa Roach themselves, but it really is the last resort for Xbox, right? Does this hybrid thing, does it lose its identity right away? Is there no other identity? Is it just another sticker on a PC? Is it truly a hybrid console? And again, if Steam is actually on there, I see GGs all across the board. Good game. It's nice to know ya. It's just, I don't see them coming back from that. I think that's such a detriment to them in the long run. Steam is such a juggernaut. I just, and again, for those trying to reach and do that, I understand the convenience of a console, but if you do have that hybrid, it has to go to a form of desktop mode. Then you're into troubleshooting, you're into shaders, you're into this, you're into that, all sorts of stuff like we had, poked a little fun, because it's more of a nuance to play on PC in that ecosystem. Not saying nobody shouldn't play on PC. I know we had a bit of fun again at the opening video, but it's just the truth. There's going to be other crashes, there's going to be bad ports, all that stuff. You get a console, you plug it, you play it, it's up and running, good to go. 9 out of 10 times, right? There's not a broken port for those console games. They're tried and true and tested and all that stuff. That's just how that works. And so everybody wants that convenience. PC, you're going to have some patience. You're going to have to do some troubleshooting. And rightfully so, it's an open platform. You're going to have to deal with, if you want to deal with mods, you're going to deal with other things associated with that aren't, filtered out via console experience, right? There's just so many things you have to look at here. So again, that's another factor that might alienate some console players that are used to console playing on an Xbox. They're like, well, now I have to deal with all this. Now I have to go into desktop mode and all this sort of stuff with my new Xbox hybrid console. That's going to push a lot of people away too. And again, it's going to ever so increase the speed in which Xbox might fall on their face even quicker than expected this next gen. But we'll have to ultimately wait and see how it turns out as far as what's available on the console. Is it truly a hybrid? Is it not? All that good stuff. And just kind of see what's really there. Is it Steam? Is it Epic? Is it both? How does it work? How fluid is switching to desktop mode? All this stuff, right? There's just so many variables and questions right now. They're also, again, they're handhelds going head-to-head with the Nintendo Switch 2, even though the Switch 2 is going to be pretty expensive, from what I understand. We'll see what that ends up being for the ultimate price here. By the time you see us recording, the Nintendo Direct will have already happened, and I'm sure they'll release the price of the Switch 2. But again, they're going with the Xbox sticker on a already handheld hybrid PC thing, right? So I mean, that's ballsy too. Again, these decisions are so out of left field sometimes. I just really question a lot of things. But that being said, we will wrap up the video for now. I really appreciate you. If you stuck around for the entirety of the video, thank you so much. Every like and comment does help out the algorithm and videos. Also would love to hear from you all, of course, down below. In addition to that, if you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself, trying to get our way to that 3,500 subscriber goal. I know we can do it. You guys are awesome. You're here for the truth, and we're here to have fun. So thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.